Welcome to the first installment of what we hope to become something that's a little bit more regular. This is the Pastoral Care Committee, so we have 4 people here today who are going to talk mostly about how we're faring. My name is Susan Page. I am a member of St. Luke's, at least for now, hoping to be a member of 521 for the long haul. I am a retired registered nurse, faculty at Sask Polytech. I taught for 23 years and nursed for 48. And so chatting is one of my fortes because as a nurse, you talk a lot.
Betty Lou Pereg, and I'm presently a member of All Saints Anglican Church. I am a lifelong Anglican. I was lucky enough as a registered nurse to have my last job working at Coppell House in the city here. It was a wonderful, wonderful place to be.
Okay. Hi, I'm Margie Hollingshead. Currently a member of St. Luke's, and I've been an Anglican for about 17 years, I believe. But a bigger thing, I'm a child of God, and I love that relationship, and it takes different forms over my life. But that's my claim to what matters to me most. I'm an oblate of St. Benedict, connected to a monastery in Minnesota. I'm a dual citizen, so I'm U.S. and Canadian, a little more than half my life here in Canada. So I'm a retired social worker and taught social work at the University of Regina for the last 19 years or something like that. But I'm happy to be retired now.
I'm Winna Martin. I'm a priest in 521 Ministerial. At the present time, I'm the associate priest at St. Luke's, All Saints, and St. Matthew's. I'm a lifelong Anglican. I've been in Regina since 1987 and came from Tucson, Arizona. So winters are still something that I kick tires a lot in the winter. They're not something I'm really fond of. So I have 2 dogs, 1 cat, 2 children, and 2 grandchildren. So I'm very blessed.
So we're going to first begin with a few questions that we can talk about, and maybe those of you who are listening will hear yourselves in our answers. So the first question that I have for everyone is, how are you feeling today?
I like fall weather. I'm not a hot summer person. And so I feel more like myself when it's kind of coolish and still nice, though, still sunny. I want both, but that's my way of doing it.
I just came back today from a few days of camping up in the Outlook area, so it was wonderful to be out. I'm finding these days that nature is so restorative, and it seems normal when so much of the rest of life doesn't seem normal. So I'm very grateful for that.
I feel really good. I love this weather. I'm like Betty Lou. I love fall. It's my favorite season. I love the colors and the smells, and I find your heart is lighter when the weather is bright and sunny and not too hot, not too cold. So it's good.
So, for 6 months, we've been keeping our distance from one another. For some people, it's been a big challenge, and for others, not so much. What are you hearing from people that you have talked to, or people even in the parishes, that are finding there are issues with exactly how they're managing with the social distance?
I know it's been very hard for some of my neighbors who are elderly and whose family is not living near them they have felt this sort of total lack of togetherness, with their family. Even though if they're talking on the phone with them, it's not the same at all. I know I have spoken to many of our parishioners who are in long-term care, and they have also felt the social isolation, which is very hard for them to not be able to even talk to their neighbors in the building.
Yeah, I found that really tough. I live alone, and early on, thankfully, made a commitment with my best friend and her husband that we would be in a bubble together, and so none of us have been interacting with other people. But so when we've been able to share meals together, usually 4 times a week, or at their house or my place, and that's been a godsend. But I have so much depended on the church community and just the outside world to be my people contact, and so without this, it's been really, really tough. There's no carefreeness to, it's not just physical touch so much for me as it is just that the carefreeness of interaction, of stopping to visit with somebody, or maybe an arm around the shoulder or something, but it's just feeling more alone perhaps than I have felt in my life. And I've found that really challenging and not without fruit spiritually, I hope, but it's been hard.
For me, it really hasn't been bad at all. I have strong support from family and friends. I've been interacting with my family on a regular basis because I'm in their bubble, and a few friends because I'm in their bubble. Because I'm a priest, I've started doing worship services, in-person worship services, which has been wonderful to be back in church again and see other people and do what I feel called to do. I, like a lot of people, I do the normal grocery shop and that sort of thing. So for me, the rhythm of my life is pretty much settled into a routine that's doable for me, but like Margie said, I think it's feeling that you don't have the freedom to be able to do what you did before, just to pick up and go where you want to go and do what you want to do, go to concerts or movies or anything where people gather. So that's a bit frustrating.
Well, I'll say for me, it's been something that's vacillated. Some days I'm very happy to be alone, except for my husband, who's mostly always there, except when he's doing something for someone else, which he does a lot of. But other days it's kind of like, I wish I could see people. I'm lonely today. I need to see somebody today. I don't want to see them on Zoom at 2 dimensions. I want to see a 3-dimensional person. So it's difficult at some time, especially in the evenings. I find that a difficult time actually, because it's a time where you sit and reflect about your day, and you think, how many people did I actually see in the flesh today? Not that many. And even to go into a store is sometimes a bit scary. I haven't been in much into a store, and I truthfully, and you all know this about me, I miss my football games. I miss going to the Rider games and screaming my lungs out and getting all my frustrations out. And now I can't do that. And I do miss the occasional touchdown, the celebration of good work. It's been nice to come back to church and see people, but you're only really seeing half of them. You're seeing them from the nose up. You don't see them smile. You don't see whether or not they're actually enjoying themselves. But all things considered, to have that in-person worship has been lovely, I will say. Even though socially distanced, way far away from one another, it has been nice to be able to put the Eucharist in your hand and to put it into your mouth and, hear the words, the body of Christ given for you. That has been, for me, the last couple of weeks keeping me going. And there are times when I have not felt like I really wanted to continue going, but that's helpful. I thank you for listening. We may have gone on a little bit longer than I thought we would, but there's some wisdom in this group that it is important, I think, for me to hear, and probably for others.